We're with Xavier Nady, Lake Elsinore Storm hitting coach. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, pleasure. Hey, you were with the major leagues in 11 seasons. What are you looking to accomplish in your time here as hitting coach at Lake Elsinore Storm?
Well, obviously, when you take over a position like this, your first goal is to obviously be here and help these guys and help them get better and help them get to the major league level. And I was fortunate enough to play a while and learn a lot of different things. And when they called me with the opportunity to take this job a couple weeks ago, I said, you know what? It's close to home. I'd like to get back in the game to some extent, and it's been a blast, man. So.
Now, when you're coming up through the ranks, is there something that you take from that you learn that you're trying to incorporate here?
Well, as a player, obviously it's a long season, and this game is based on failure. And a lot of these kids, at bat to at bat, are pretty hard on themselves. And you know, you're gonna fail, 7 out of 10 times. And you try to keep these kids every day to keep working on things and come to the park with a good attitude. And it might be that day that something clicks in there for them. And you do a lot of early work here, and basically I'm just here to keep them positive, keep them fundamentally sound, and keep them believing in themselves, and hopefully they continue to get better and keep moving up the ranks.
How many times do you see yourself making adjustments or changing things to try and get a individual out of a funk, or what? Describe what actually goes into a routine with these kids.
Well, for me, this is obviously my first job as taking over like a hitting coach role, and I shut it down last year and been hanging out. And when I came in here, the biggest part for me is getting to know these guys and getting to know each one's swings and what their strengths are, the weaknesses are, what their approach is at the plate. And it's a lot of info. And obviously when you're in the minor leagues, they're taking players from you every other day. And, it's one guy's going up, you're getting a new guy, and you got to learn what this guy, what he does at the plate, what he's good at. And that's been a big adjustment for me, and getting to know these kids away from the game, how they think, what their confidence level is. And it's a lot more work and a lot more time than I thought, and it's a good challenge, and I truly enjoy it.
Now, going back to your playing career, do you think the fact that you had 11 seasons, does that bring any credibility to these youngsters to say, you know what, he knows what he's talking about, he's just not someone talking just to talk?
You know what? To be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, I think they love hearing stories, love asking questions, and when you have a little experience, it always helps. So, you have a lot to relate to them and give them fun stories, give them different organizational stories, whether it's travel, clubhouse stories, whatever it might be. But also, what I took away playing all this time was I was fortunate. I've played for 8 different organizations in the big leagues and had a different hitting coach almost every year. So I got to take, my pros and cons away from each guy and try to bring it into here and kind of get a feel what these guys like. And I can tell them, this is what I like, this is what I didn't like, this is what a lot of us did here. And I think that helps me relate to them, get a feel for them, as opposed to just doing drills that are out there, but they might not really get anything out of it, So everybody's different. Some guys don't like certain things, and that's my job to find out now.
Now, in the California League, it's known as a hitter's league. Is there any other approach or anything differently you may do on a park-to-park basis?
No, I mean, obviously they got to get in the plate and have a good approach and put a good swing on it. Unfortunately, here's been playing kind of big lately, and we hear a lot of that with BP, and then we go to parks like High Desert, Lancaster, where the ball's flying. But for most part, these kids are doing good, and it's a grind every day. And, you just try to go in. Obviously, I remember going in some of these parks as well, and you get a little long, try to hit homers, and all you do is strike out or pop up, whatever it might be. So you try to get them to stick to their same approach, and hopefully good results happen.
Let's talk a little bit down the road. With all the experience that you have, and of course coming into this position, do you look at yourself as possibly managing in the minor leagues or in the major leagues someday?
You know what? I've been actually asked that a lot more lately. Over the last year when you step away from the game, you have no idea what you want to do. And I miss being around the guys. I miss the camaraderie, the challenge of, the grind. But I don't know. To be honest with you, I have no clue. I really enjoy what I'm doing right now. I know it's a 2-month, a short stint, but I really like the reward of working with a kid one day early, and he puts it into the game and has unbelievable results, hits a home run on something that you've been trying to preach to him to try, and it's a great feeling. I've told some people it's like your kids out there when they have success. It's very you get a big smile in here, and so I like that aspect of it. And I'm just gonna finish it out here and see what happens, and take it day by day, man. Keep these kids going and having fun.
Kind of leads in the last part I was going to ask you is when, say, you're working with an individual, he goes out and puts a 3 for 4 day up. Do you go back to him to reassure him, hey, this is what we worked on, these are the results you can get by doing exactly what he did? You saw that on the field yourself.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you've been doing something or he got away from a habit that he wasn't, that was leading to him to some failure. But then there's also at every level, when a guy's swinging the bat well, you kind of just leave those guys alone. You say, stick to your routine. I'll see you tomorrow. It's try not to mix anything else. You don't say anything. You just leave them alone. When guys are struggling, they have more questions. They're asking you more. They want more info. They want to know what's going on, and that's when it breaks down to mechanics or approach or pitch selection, whatever it might be. But yeah, when guys, I like it when guys are doing good, 'cause you can just say, you know what, leave me. They leave you alone and they do their routine and they're gone and they're happy.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly, exactly, and it's like that at every level. I mean, when guys are riding hot streaks, they have a very simple routine and they don't mess with it.
Great. Hey, I appreciate your time.
No problem. Thanks for having me.